Viewmasters, it's the podcast that we do. Viewmasters, talk about movies that we view. Viewmasters, my friend Eric and me, Joe. Viewmasters, hey, let's start the show.
Hello, welcome to the Viewmasters, episode 239. Ip Man. My name is Eric.
My name is Joe.
Hello, Joe.
Hello, Eric.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am doing okay, I guess.
Excellent. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. It is that day when we are recording this.
Yes.
I know earlier in the week I texted you to see if you still even wanted to do this. I was going to be fine if you had said no, but I was really hoping you were going to say yes. Because I got jack all to do.
Well, I was initially thinking to take the week off. Mm-hmm. But, I'm not going anywhere, not really doing anything, so why the heck not?
Yeah, well, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Little bright spot in both of our days.
Exactly. Oh, boy. So, Ip Man.
Ip Man.
Or whatever it's called.
No, it's Ip Man.
Okay. Disappointingly, not a superhero movie.
I mean, sort of.
I guess a little bit.
I believe you probably did research. I meant to and then didn't have a chance to.
I have done very, very little. I was literally reading the Wikipedia when I got your text that said, hey, would you like to start?
But is this based on a true story?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep. Yes, Ip Man was actually Bruce Lee's instructor.
Nice.
Which they do mention at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So, turns out, I have seen this movie.
Have you really?
Yes. But I got it confused with another movie that I had seen called Fearless.
Okay.
Which is, I believe, also based on a real person with real events.
Is that a Jet Li movie?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So you have not seen Fearless.
I have seen Fearless.
You have, okay.
But I conflated both of them in my mind.
Gotcha.
There was definitely one part that I kept waiting for in this movie that never happened that I did associate with it. But the oddest thing was that the only part that really stood out to me that I remembered was Donnie Yen just eating a raw potato.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the only thing I remembered from my previous watch of this movie.
Yeah, I mean, that stands out.
Yeah.
That's really something.
I mean, who eats raw potatoes?
At first I thought it was a loaf of bread. But then, yeah, it's absolutely just like, is it a yam or a sweet potato?
I guess it's probably a yam.
Yeah.
But he does put it in his pocket quite a few times, though.
He does.
And I guess if you're into pocket potatoes, there you go.
I mean, at that point, he's somewhat destitute.
Mm-hmm.
So beggars can't really be choosers.
Sure.
Pocket or not pocket potato.
I mean, I'm just hoping that his pocket is slightly clean.
I would assume that he would brush off any lint or whatever before he would go back to eating it, right?
Sure. Well, I mean, it's not even so much when he eats it, it's just that the later part where he gives that to his family to eat.
True.
That's a little bit weird. Also, it's half-eaten at that point, too.
And I think at that point, too, he has had it, didn't he put it on the floor next to a bag of rice that's covered in blood at that point?
Yeah, I think he does.
So, I hope that it didn't get any blood on it as well.
Sure.
A lot of potential contaminants for these potatoes.
Yeah, so the past is gross.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah. I mean, not to mention all the coal dust.
Right?
Yeah, yikes. All right.
And I think the most horrifying thing is that it's really not all that far in the past.
It's less than 100 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah. It's kind of terrifying.
Yeah. I think that's another thing that I conflated with Fearless, is that I believe Fearless takes place in the at least 19th century.
Okay.
If not earlier. Whereas this movie takes place in definitely the 1930s.
Yes. Yeah. I believe it starts in 1935.
Yep.
And then spans a couple of years.
Yep. Till, I'd say, at least 1940, probably.
Yeah, probably, yeah. And then obviously we get a lot of information at the end via text dump of what followed. Yep. So yeah, so you've seen it twice now.
Yep. Which I'm totally okay with.
Good. Excellent.
Yeah.
That was going to be my question.
Yep. I enjoyed this movie the first time and this time, too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it a lot, too. I've never really... I guess probably the only actual, like kung fu martial arts movie that I've seen before this is, like, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon or something. So
okay.
So this feels like I don't know if it's a more authentic martial arts. Like there's less wire work. It sure seems like.
Yeah, the fantasy element is almost non-existent.
Yeah.
There is obviously some very fancy martial arts happening.
Definitely.
That is probably enhanced by some light wire work.
Yeah. Definitely. There is some that I noticed, but it wasn't as like they're not jumping around on treetops.
No, they're not. Nope.
So yeah, I guess in that respect, this is my first sort of straight martial arts movie.
All right, I've seen quite a few, especially in the last couple of years. Netflix and Amazon both have had a lot of older ones from like the 70s, 60s, 70s.
Oh, nice.
And occasionally they're just nice to have on. Although I did watch one recently called The Flying Guillotine, which was from there was a studio in the 70s called the Shaw Brothers.
Okay.
That just produced hundreds of martial arts movies, usually with a stable of actors who would portray all the characters.
Sure.
I mean, kung fu movies in general have sort of a bad reputation about the translations and the subtitles and the dubbing.
Yeah.
And, as has been discussed many times since we started doing this show again, Old Man Eric watches subtitles on everything.
Right.
And for some reason, I started The Flying Guillotine dubbed in English with English subtitles.
Okay.
And they do not match.
Oh, no.
And it was real frustrating.
That's weird.
Yeah. So when I can, I generally try to, watch it in its original language with, English subtitles.
Yeah. It's a more authentic experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably.
Yeah. But no, so a lot of those old ones, though, are just super violent and ridiculous, and I love them.
Yeah.
This is definitely more of a straightforward drama that just happens to have a lot of martial arts in it.
Definitely, yeah. I liked that it was plot and character driven and not just people fighting.
No, yeah. And those old ones are also that. It's just once the fighting starts, it is just beyond the pale how out there it gets sometimes. Like, the flying guillotine is all about, this guy who invents a weapon that he, swings around and it latches onto people's heads and then cuts them off, and then they can pull their heads back to them.
Oh, cool. So a literal flying guillotine.
Yes, it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is pretty awesome. And the general plot of like a lot of those old movies is that it's like, one guy who's part of like a clan or a school or whatever becomes an outcast and then has to fight his old masters.
Ah, gotcha.
I mean, that is like 90% of old kung fu movies. There are some elements at play in this movie that are similar to that as well.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
But done, I would say, in a more realistic, grounded, and dramatic way than, Arch.
Sure. There's no flying guillotine in this movie, which now that you describe it is really disappointing. But yeah, so this movie is about Master Ip, who is a kung fu master in China, in like a village in China.
Foshan, I believe, is the village's name.
I believe you're right.
Yeah.
In like the 30s. So we get a little bit of just what life is like in the village, and then in the like 1936, I think, was when the Japanese invaded.
Yeah, something like that. 36, 37.
Yeah, and basically just like pillage the village. No rhyme intended. And Master Ip and his family lose everything. And then it's just them sort of struggling to get by and deal with the horrible invaders at that point.
Yep. He is. It's never said where he gets his wealth from, but he is independently wealthy, and he just is the best at martial arts.
Yeah.
But everybody keeps begging him to start a school of some sorts, and he just, he's a wealthy playboy millionaire, and he just does not have the need to take on students.
It's true. He's like pre-Dick Grayson Batman.
Yeah. But he does host people to come by and spar with him, which is sort of where the movie starts. And he easily beats this new kung fu master, and it doesn't really set the plot in motion, but we just get an idea of who he is and how he just handles life in general, I guess.
Yeah. Can we talk for a minute about the first guy who comes over? Is it Master Liu?
Yes.
Who comes to fight him? He just like drops in. He's like, "Hey, I'd like to spar with you."
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and do that right now.
It's rude for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's just me. I don't like a drop in.
No, not at all.
And usually the people who would drop in on me are not challenging me to fights either.
I have done a drop in once where I dropped in on someone and I felt terrible. like they just got upset that I was dropping in.
I had a drop in once from a very good friend of mine and his wife, who just happened to be in the area, I guess.
Okay.
And wanted to use my restroom.
What?
And I said no.
Yeah, that's the correct response.
And 20 years later, he still brings it up.
Oh. No, you are completely in the right here.
I believe I am. Thank you.
If you need me to tell him, because I'm pretty sure I know who you're talking about, I will definitely go to bat for you on this.
It should be fine. But, yeah, no, I know I'm in the right.
Okay. Plenty of public restrooms they could have used.
Exactly. Yep. And you know what? Even, I mean, this was pre-cell phone days, but, if I'd have gotten a call or a text beforehand, I maybe would have been more open to it.
Sure.
But this was just him on my day off, just knocking on my door and saying, "Hey,
I need to drop a hot deuce in your toilet."
Yep.
Let me in. And then you battle with Kung Fu.
Sure, yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, the drop in Kung Fu battle really just like I empathized with Master Ip in that scenario. Like, guy's just trying to have dinner.
Yeah. And his wife seems just really put out by it as well.
His wife is not a good character.
Well, no. I mean, she is, I believe, literally the only female character in the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. Has maybe 2 lines of dialogue.
She's got a few. One of them did make me laugh.
All right. Most of them are just nag, nag, nag.
Yes.
Oh, what's the one that made you laugh?
The one that made me laugh was when, is it the Northerners come to their house, and the guy wants to start his own school, but he has to, I don't know, defeat all of the masters in the area in order to do it. And he insists on battling Master Ip in their house, and he's just a real dick about it. And finally, Ip's wife is just like, "Don't break any of my stuff."
Yep.
And then she walks away. That made me laugh.
All right. And then in the course of that fight, everything that does get broken, the Northerner, I believe his name is Jin.
Yes.
Keeps saying he'll pay.
Yeah. I don't think he ever does.
I don't think he does either. He is, he turns out to be the secondary villain of the movie.
Yeah.
Second only to the Japanese.
Right. It's all these outsiders coming in and trying to change things.
I didn't really want to mention it, but you did spring upon us a real Chinese nationalist piece of propaganda on us here.
I didn't do it on purpose. But as soon as I saw it, I could not unsee it. Like all of the Chinese, or all of the people in the village, everybody seems like they dress pretty well, and they're all, well mannered, and they've got their their routines they go about during the day. And then in come this group of basically savages wearing like rags and just going around beating people up. Like, it's questionable.
Yeah.
Like, they could have been well dressed as well. I don't see why that had to be a thing.
Well, I mean, I guess it does set the stage for when the Japanese do invade, and then everybody is not well dressed.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. Except for like 2 of the guys.
Right.
The traitorous police officer and Master Ip's cousin, brother.
I don't know if they're actually related, or if it's just like his best friend.
Right.
The guy who runs a factory.
Yep.
And who owes Ip a lot of money that he will never pay back.
No. Well, to be fair, apparently Ip is so rich at the beginning that he totally forgot that this guy owed him money.
That's true.
Yeah.
Donnie Yen's real good.
Yeah, he is.
Like, holy shit. I would be lying if I said that I didn't pick this movie just because I really liked him in Rogue One.
Sure.
And wanted to see more of him.
He is a standout in that movie.
Yeah, and he does not disappoint here either.
No. I'm pretty sure I saw this before I saw Rogue One. But I definitely remembered him from both, and I do really enjoy him. And as far as like kung fu movies go, it's not the flashiest of kung fu that I've seen.
Yeah.
But it is very well done. And he definitely has an acting ability that sometimes a lot of kung fu actors just don't have.
Yeah, I appreciated how, like, sort of just calm he is through most of the movie. Until...
Yeah. I was about to mention that. So there's... we talked about the opening, sparring scene with Master Liu, and even when he's fighting against the Northerners, like his fighting style is essentially just more defense and letting them use their own bodies against themselves, basically.
Basically, yeah.
He is just, dodging it and just making them hurt themselves, essentially. But then, after the Japanese invade and he participates in a Japanese-led tournament of sorts, after he has discovered that they've essentially, after he's discovered that they basically killed a friend of his and sees another man get shot in the head.
Yeah.
Then he unleashes.
Yeah.
And I did really appreciate the differences in his fighting abilities in those, two separate moments.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Man, it's just impressive. Like, he's so fast. I'm a big lumbering guy.
Are
so
you?
I kind of am.
Huh.
At least I feel like I am. I feel like I'm just too big for the world and in the way everywhere I go, and just slow. And so, like, to see somebody who is able to just move as fast as he does.
Right.
And as precisely as he does, it blows me away.
Well, I am with you in the I am also a giant lumbering oaf. So yes, it is very impressive. I am, however, one of the credits that I saw in the movie is that the action choreography is by Sammo Hung, who is an overweight martial artist.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah. He had his own TV show for a while in the early 90s.
All right.
He was like a Chinese cop who got placed in Texas or something like that.
What?
I feel like it may have been like even a crossover with Walker, Texas Ranger at some point.
Amazing.
But yeah, he's just a big fat guy that can kick everybody's ass.
All right.
Yeah. If you want to feel better about yourself.
Well, no, now I feel worse. Like, why am I not doing that? It's like that.
It's never too late to start.
That Twitter meme that's like, what's stopping you from doing this? I don't know, laziness, I guess.
That's, pretty much the answer to everything. At least for me, anyway.
Yeah. My couch is comfortable.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice to sit around and not do much.
So yeah, I don't know that I have a ton to say. It's a fairly straightforward story.
Yeah.
Yeah, impressive martial arts.
Yeah.
Nationalist propaganda.
A little bit, yeah. Maybe as just a Midwestern, American dude, feel a little weird about, I don't know who I'm supposed to be rooting for.
Really?
Well, yeah.
It's pretty clear. At least this narrative has the Japanese as the bad guys.
Sure, but, do we really need to push forward the Chinese agenda nowadays?
Oh, boy. Oh, no. No, Trump lost. I don't know if you heard. So it's okay to be interested in other cultures and their history now. I know there was a span there where it wasn't.
Okay, then I'm fine. Go Chinese, and hopefully the Japanese have turned themselves around.
I feel like they have at this point.
Yeah,
they were in a rough spot there in the 30s and 40s.
Sure.
I did this part. Okay, this part did make me sort of chuckle when, like, in the text at the end, it said that the Japanese unconditionally surrendered on, I forget what the date was, in 1945.
Mm-hmm.
And then it said that the Chinese had finally defeated them. And I'm sure it had nothing to do with the 2 nuclear weapons that America used on them like days earlier.
Sure.
It was all the Chinese. They did all that stuff.
Well, they wore them down.
That's true. They did. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. It's like like a jar that's hard to open, and somebody keeps struggling with it, and then if you pop it open, it's because they did all the work beforehand.
That's true. They did all that work, and then America flew in and dropped megaton warheads on them that killed millions of people.
Sure.
Equal parts.
Yep.
And to be clear, I don't want to say that, like, what the Americans did was good, because it wasn't.
Wait, are you saying nuclear annihilation is bad?
I am. I know, it's a stance. But it's one I'm taking right now. Let's not, shall we?
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
That part really, like, of the nationalist propaganda, that part definitely just, like, smacked of it to me.
Sure. Yeah, no, there's definitely some moments where, you could really feel it. But whatever. It's not like they're the only country that does that kind of thing.
That's
America.
True. America. Fuck yeah.
Oh boy, but no, yeah, it was. It's a very good movie, and I'll even admit that occasionally during some of the more rah China moments. I got a little teary.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, they are the underdog in this story, and that helps.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah. But now they've given us this flu.
Dang. Yikes. So I definitely thought that Master Ip died when he got shot at the end. That felt like the way that it played out was very much like he's shot, now he's dead, and then
right.
we find out in text That no, he's okay. He lived for like another 30 or 40 years.
Yeah, just Donnie again wanted his death scene.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Even though, the person did not actually die.
Right.
I believe the real master it passed away in like the early 70s.
Okay.
Yeah. And obviously, trained Bruce Lee, the greatest martial arts action star of all time.
Right.
Arguably.
I've never seen a Bruce Lee movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I've only seen a handful, but I've enjoyed most of them.
I only know Bruce Lee from the Green Hornet and the crossover with Batman. He'll always be Kato to me.
I mean, that's isn't that where you got to start? I can't, or at least in America, anyway.
I think so. I think you're right. Yeah.
I've seen a couple of his Chinese movies. And just a handful of some of the ones he made, while he was trying to break into America.
Yeah.
Like I definitely saw the one where he fights Chuck Norris.
Oh wow! Okay.
Or should I say he fights Chuck Norris's chest hair?
Oh Lord!
It's gross.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, it's not great. Chuck Norris should not be taking his shirt off. I don't care in what good a shape he is.
There's one where he fights Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, right?
No, that's a different one.
That's a different one. Okay.
Yeah. And there's one that John Saxon is in as well. But there's one I watched that was a comedy.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, like it starts out with Bruce Lee just he goes to an airport and he like sneaks into like the lounge area and steals food, and it's just weird.
That sounds so strange.
And it's supposed to be funny. But I mean, he's enjoyable.
Yeah, I like him on Batman.
Yeah, there you go. But I was just about to reference something, but I realized that you have not seen that movie.
Okay. I mean, so you could do it. You'll get nothing back from me.
Okay, well, just we know that Brad Pitt could kick his ass.
Well, I have seen that movie.
Have you?
I have seen that movie, yes.
Okay, well, no.
Yeah.
I did not know. No.
Okay, I have seen a Bruce Lee movie.
Well, now I have to ask you about if you watched that movie all the way through the credits.
I don't think I did.
Okay.
Probably not. Is there a post-credit scene?
There's not a post-credit scene, but like I believe in the middle of the credits or at the end of the credits, there is an actual real life "this happened" audio bit that is played over the credits, which is relevant to both of our interests.
Interesting. Okay.
It is. I guess I'll just tell you. It's like a radio spot for the Batman TV show.
What?
With Adam West and Burt Ward.
Oh my God, that's amazing!
Yeah.
I can't believe I haven't seen that.
I know because I saw it in the theater. We're talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes.
I saw it in the theater, and as soon as that part played, like I texted you immediately to ask if you had seen that movie yet. And I didn't spoil it at the time because, but I just said, there's something that happens that you would find delightful.
I have no memory of that.
Yeah.
I will look that up as soon as we're done here because I need to hear that.
Excellent. So speaking of delightful things,
yes.
Is anything been delightful to you this past week?
Oh, geez. I mean, having a couple days off of work is pretty nice.
Sure.
I Other than that, not really.
Okay.
That's probably just having a few days to recharge and just sort of veg and do nothing is really, really appealing to me right now. So
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
how about you?
Well, I mean, I do have today off, which is very rare. I generally work 7 days a week. But also, I'm bored as hell, so not really.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But so I got two things. One is that I saw the new Bill and Ted movie last weekend.
Nice.
And enjoyed it greatly. It is very delightful. Just a light, fun comedy,
Awesome.
But the thing that brought me real joy this week, and I don't know how relatable it is, but I made chili from scratch for the first time ever.
Ooh.
And it was great.
That's awesome.
I love chili, and I've always held my mom's chili to be the gold standard, and not too many chilies have I had that have come close to it, especially in the area in which I live, in which some sort of abomination is passed off as chili at major restaurants.
Wait, so how many things of ground cinnamon did you use in your chili?
I used none.
What?
And get this, no chocolate either.
Aww. That doesn't sound like chili to me.
But I was reminded of, my mom used to make just these huge vats of chilies and sauces and soups, during the winter especially, and just freeze them.
Yeah.
But I remember my brother calling the house once and asking my mom for her recipe. And my mom was like, I don't have a recipe. I just do it. And we were going to his house that afternoon for lunch, and that's what he was going to make. So she's like, well, this is, the ingredients, and this is what I do, And so we got to his house, and he just had this terrible thin slop. It was just like a tomato broth with chunks of meat and huge chunks of vegetable. And it was just gross.
That sounds so appetizing.
And so the fact that I was able to make something pretty close to what my mom made without even having to call her to ask, first time out, it just makes me feel superior.
to your brother, or just in general?
Mostly to my brother, but in general.
All right. What compelled you to want to try and make chili?
I don't know. I think I saw a video, like an Instagram ad where they made chili in it, and I was like, you know what, I can do that.
All right.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
No real compulsion otherwise. Yeah,
nice. Congratulations.
Maybe the fact that I can't go to restaurants or see my mom, and I just figured, well, maybe I should try to figure this out on my own.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jenny has made chili from scratch a couple of times, but I've never done it. So
it's not hard.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, I don't know how my brother fucked it up so much.
Too much cinnamon.
Yeah, probably. He may be wealthy and successful, but I made chili.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. Your brother. Congratulations.
Fuck him in his mansion.
Oh man. I am really proud of you. That is a good accomplishment.
Thank you. So should I pick a movie?
If you would like to.
I would like to.
Excellent.
So, because, I've now become extra paranoid, and I had to make sure that this was available somewhere. I discovered that this movie is available on Prime, on Hoopla, on Tubi, on Vudu, and on Pluto.
Okay.
So you should be able to find this movie somewhere.
We'll see.
And some of them might not have ads. But there's a movie that came out a couple years ago called CBGB.
Okay.
With Alan Rickman and Malin Ackerman.
Nice.
It is about the famous punk club CBGB's in New York City.
Awesome.
I'll be honest, I've not heard any good things about it, but I still want to see it.
Okay. Have you heard bad things about it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But you know what? I've only ever heard negative reviews about the New Mutants movie.
Okay.
I watched that last week, and I found it to be very enjoyable.
Nice. Okay.
So, sometimes people are wrong.
Yeah, mileage varies.
Exactly. So hopefully our mileage will vary, and I've not picked a horrible stinker.
Well, we'll see.
Yep, we'll see.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that does it for this episode of The Viewmasters.
Oh, that was so much worse than what you expected it was going to be.
I tried something.
Yeah, you did. I admire it.
Thank you.
But boy, it was awkward.
You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Joe Grunenwald.
And I'm at eSeanboy.
This is how real podcasts do it, I think.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to plug?
You can find me at comicsbeat.com. What about you, Eric?
You know what? It's going to be a month from now when you hear this, but if you go back in time, I'll be having a 25% off sale on my online store, shop.seanborn.net.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
You'll be
Black Friday special.
Will it be December for you when this comes out? Are you doing DC December?
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Yep.
So check that out on social media.
There you go. Yep. Alrighty. So CBGB next week on The Viewmasters.
All right. Talk to you then.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to The Viewmasters. You can subscribe to the show directly at view.guttertrash.net or at iTunes and leave us a review. Visit view.guttertrash.net for email information and links to Facebook and Twitter. We'll see you next time on The Viewmasters.